big tech doesn't care about you, especially if you're poor. And now is the time to fight back. October 14th, 2025, Microsoft will stop supporting Windows 10. What does this mean? Well, basically, you won't be getting any new features and, more importantly, no security updates. And this puts your PC at risk. You can have your passwords potentially compromised, and so many things could happen. So the easiest change is, well, Microsoft wants you just to buy a new computer. But don't do it. You don't have to. Your computer is fine, even if Microsoft tells you that it's not compatible with Windows 11. Now, rather than going out and buying a completely new computer because you have to use Windows, you have options. Times are difficult and big tech feels like they're fighting a war against the poor. Not all of us can afford a new computer, and nor should you have to feel like you have to buy one just to use Windows. You can use Linux. Now, I know Linux might scare some of you and you might say, oh, I don't have any technical abilities to install it, but as a beginner who's been using Linux for the past 6 months, I assure you, you can, and it's super easy. Now in this video, I'm going to go through the easy steps that you can use to install any Linux distro that you want. The beauty of Linux is that it's free. If you don't like one, you can change it, and you can decide before you install it on your Windows computer. But before installing Linux, you're going to need to back up all of your information on your computer. That means using an external hard drive or a place on a cloud service to store all of the data or all of the information that you want to keep from your computer. These are your documents or anything that you deem important that you want to use on your next computer. Now, if you're helping out a parent or a child, I would recommend sitting down with them and going through and saving and backing up things just in case, because they may want to use it later and not really know that they need it. Now, once you've backed up everything and saved everything, you can choose which distro that you want to use. Now, if you've never used Linux before and you've never heard of any distros, there are some easier ones to start with as a beginner. A lot of people will say Linux Mint. It's been affirmed to me by multiple people that Linux Mint works great, it's easy, especially for those who are familiar with the Windows ecosystem. But if you want to try something different and also easy to use for beginners, I've been told that Zorin is also a great operating system with Linux. I'm going to be going through and installing Zorin OS on one of my older laptops and seeing how it goes. Now, before installing, you can just create a bootable USB. Now, don't be scared. Basically, just find a USB key in your house. It has to be a minimum of 4 gigabytes, but I'd recommend going at least 8 gigabytes or more. The bigger the better in this scenario. So once you find a USB key, you'll have to choose your Linux distro and install the ISO, and this will be used to flash the USB to be able to boot it onto your computer. Basically, just choose an operating system. For example, I'm going to choose Zorin OS. I can go to their website and be aware that some distros have a payable version that gives you more premium features, like on this site for Zorin, but you don't need that. You just go for the free one, download it. With Linux Mint, you could do the same, go to their page and choose download. Whichever distro you choose to use, for example, Ubuntu, Fedora, anything, just select download and download it to your computer. Now, once you do that, you're going to need your USB key. From here, just plug it into your computer, and you're also going to need to download a flashing software. You have a couple different options. You can use Rufus, or I like to use Balena Etcher because it works across multiple platforms, and I find it's just very user-friendly. Now, once you download this particular software, you'll need to install it onto your computer. After you've done this, plug in your USB, and you should see the option to select the USB key from the software itself. Once you select this option, then you'll need to select the file or the Linux distro that you've downloaded. If you've downloaded it and you don't know where it is on your computer, chances are it's probably in your downloads folder. So check your downloads, choose the file, and then choose flash. Now, this may take some time, of course, depending on your computer. This could take a few minutes, it could take a bit longer. Just be patient and let it flash. Now, the next step is important, and you'll need to restart your computer and access your BIOS menu. Now, what is the BIOS menu? It's that scary blue menu that you can access sometimes by accident by pressing keys when your computer starts up. And it looks very old school and very hacker-esque for those of you, especially myself, who are not really comfortable with accessing our computer internals. Basically, it allows you to access your computer and boot something from the start. And this is all we're going to do from this menu. So depending on the manufacturer of your computer will depend on how you access this menu. Sometimes you'll have to press F2. Sometimes you'll have to press Escape, Delete, F12, one of those keys. I'm going to leave a list of common ones here on the screen, but you can look up your computer and see how to access directly. Now, once you access the BIOS menu from when you start up your computer, you'll be brought again to the BIOS menu. You're going to want to go to the Startup menu and select Boot. From Boot, you can choose to boot from your USB key. Now, be sure to select your USB key. You're going to have to use the arrow keys and move it up to number 1 on the menu. Once you do this, you can save and it will reboot. And once you reboot it, it will give you the option to access the USB. From this menu, you have a few different options. The beautiful thing about Linux is that you can try it before you install it. You can boot it directly from the USB key to get a feeling about how it looks, how it feels before you really decide to install it. So if you want to just try it out, just boot directly from the USB key, take a look around, see what you like about it, and really decide before installing it on your computer completely. Just try multiple Linux distros if you feel like you need to, but once you come across one that you think you like, you can choose the install option. From here, you'll be brought to the install wizard for that particular Linux distro, and you can just follow the steps. Most of them are more or less the same, choosing your language, your keyboard layout, and simple things like this. Once it's installed, you'll be able to look around. Now, Linux has very different appearances depending on the distro and the desktop environment that you choose. Now, once you've chosen your layout, you'll be able to start installing apps. Now, if you're somebody who uses the same browser across multiple devices on your mobile phone, for example, and you have all of your passwords saved on that particular browser, I would recommend installing the same browser. So if you're somebody who uses Google Chrome and have everything stored on there, all of your bookmarks, all of this, you can install it on Linux and keep using it as you would on your old computer. If you want to try something new, I highly recommend checking out a new browser that's more safety focused and less about giving information to other companies, but that's your preference. You can choose to install Firefox, Vivaldi, Brave, whichever you like, or just stick with the ones you know, such as Chrome. You can also choose to browse around the different applications. By default, if you need a document editor, you should have LibreOffice already installed. If you don't, you can install it, of course. Now, if you're somebody who's a diehard Microsoft fan and you need to use Microsoft Office products, I highly recommend accessing the Microsoft Office 365 apps via the web app. You can access Office 365, edit, make any changes, or do what you need to do with Microsoft products directly on the web app. This allows you to have the best of both worlds, essentially. You don't have to have a Windows computer to use Windows products. Now that's it. That's all you need to do to be able to install Linux on your Windows 10 computer. And the beautiful part about Linux is that you can do this with any Windows computer. Windows 11, Windows XP, anything you have laying around pretty much can be made useful again by installing Linux. Now, again, some distros work better on older devices, and if you have something really old, I suggest taking a look online for suggestions. Now, if any of you have watched through this tutorial and you are a hardcore Linux fan and have any suggestions, I highly recommend leaving some comments below, maybe some links to your favorite beginner distro, or any advice that you could give to people to really help them affirm that they can easily change their computer to Linux and not to be afraid. Don't let these companies scare you. They're honestly trying to make more money, and the way they can make the most money is if you keep buying products. We don't need to keep buying products. There are perfectly good pieces of hardware laying around that we can change and keep using into the future. We don't need to throw 400 million devices away just because a company no longer chooses to support it. I really hope this video helped those of you on the edge about switching to Linux. Honestly, give it a try, boot it from directly the USB key, look around, test it, see how you like it, and honestly, just install it. If you don't like it, you can always change to another distro by using the same method. Again, flashing the USB and then booting it directly from your computer and going on your way. You can have a new computer every day if you wish by installing a different distro. I mean, it could be a bit of a headache to distro hop, but I know some of you love to do it. I would like to thank all of the members supporting this channel and thank you for watching, and see you soon.